Training a throwing and hitting athlete can be very challenging. However, if it's done properly, it can be very rewarding for the athlete. The SAD principle, specific adaptations to impose demands, is a well-known strength and conditioning principle. It tells us that an athlete's body will specifically adapt to the demands that are being imposed upon him or her. Therefore, if you want to train for improved sport performance, you must perform exercises that are going to closely mimic the physical function of the sport. Throwing and hitting are very similar. They both involve multiple body parts moving in a fast, powerful, ballistic manner. Therefore, sport-specific training will consist of an athlete performing exercises training strength, power, flexibility, and coordination to multiple body parts at one time. Many athletes spend a lot of time in the weight room performing exercises like bench press, lat pull downs, lateral raises. These exercises may be good for improving some strength, but they're not going to do anything to improve sports performance. The only way to get true sports performance from training is to perform exercises on a device like the Sport Enhancer. To provide true sport-specific training, one must perform a biomechanical analysis of the sport being performed. The hitting and throwing motion can be biomechanically broken down into two phases, the cocking phase and the acceleration phase. Let's take a look at what the body's doing during these two phases. The purpose of the cocking phase is to put the major muscles that are going to be accelerating the body forward during hitting and pitching on a pre-contraction eccentric stretch. Putting the muscles on a pre-contraction eccentric stretch allows the batter and pitcher to generate more force during the hitting and throwing motion. The major muscles at the hip during hitting and throwing are the hip extensors and the hip external rotators. At the trunk, it's the internal obliques and external obliques. At the shoulder, it's the shoulder extensors and shoulder abductors, and at the elbow, the extensors, otherwise known as the triceps. After the cocking phase has been obtained, the thrower and hitter are now in a position to ballistically fire his or her muscle groups in a powerful manner. One of the major benefits of the throwing and hitting Sport Enhancer is that it works well to fix throwing and hitting form mistakes. Let's take a look at this batter. A common mistake that occurs is when the batter drops his back shoulder. Dropping the back shoulder leads to poor power and poor contact. Another hitting form mistake is lunging forward at the ball and rolling the wrists over, losing that proper V formation. Let's take a look at a batter who has been using the hitting Sport Enhancer. You'll see he has proper form, proper weight distribution through his lower limbs, his torso is rotated, and his arms are cocked. As his back goes through the strike zone, he has a nice V-shaped formation as he makes contact with the ball. Some of the common pitching mistakes that can be helped with the throwing Sport Enhancer are improper mound push-off, improper stance limb balance, improper follow-through balance, and improper shoulder-elbow angle. Let's take a look at a pitcher who has been performing on the throwing Sport Enhancer. Watch his stance limb, his follow-through limb, and take an extra look at his balance. Watch his shoulder and elbow angle. He keeps it elevated through the throwing cycle. Watch how powerfully he pushes off with his back leg.
Hello, I'm Dr. Clint Van Landingham, co-inventor of the Throwing and Hitting Enhancer products. As physicians and sports medicine practitioners, we spend a great deal of time educating our patients on how to prevent disease and injury. If you follow the news, there's been an increasing trend of injuries in professional as well as college and high school baseball players requiring surgery. More popular examples include rotator cuff injuries as well as ulnar collateral ligament damage requiring surgery such as the infamous Tommy John surgery. There have been several published studies as to the cause of these injuries, and what the research shows us is that there are some major factors which contribute to their development. One is the total number of pitches thrown in a season. Two is inadequate or inappropriate training. And three is improper mechanics of throwing. Everyone agrees that strengthening the core body as well as developing the shoulder strength and flexibility is crucial for injury prevention. When you look at the products currently on the market as well as sport-specific exercises, there is a huge void. There's really nothing out there that combines proper mechanics and targets each individual muscle group in a coordinated fashion, until now. Resistance training has been utilized and studied for decades, and we know that it is effective if used correctly to strengthen core muscle groups and improve joint mobility. The Sports Enhancer products were not only developed to specifically target and resist each muscle group necessary to perform the throw or hit, but it also helps train the athlete on proper mechanics. The Enhancer products will not only help the athlete increase their velocity and strength, but it also will help prevent injury.
I'm Jared Stockton, baseball coach and certified athletic trainer. I highly recommend the Throwing and Hitting Sport Enhancer. As a coach and trainer, I'm always looking for ways to improve our players' form and function, and this is the best tool that I have. After we use the Sport Enhancer, I see them have less mistakes in their form when they throw and hit. I also see them throw the ball harder and hit the ball farther. This device really is amazing.
Since I've started using the Sports Enhancer, I've noticed a big improvement in my throwing mechanics as well as my bat speed.
Before I started using the Performance Enhancer, I was struggling quite a bit with my mechanics. Ever since I started using it, it's been really helpful, and it's just been great.
We put our pitcher on the Throwing Performance Enhancer, and the next game we noticed a better zip to his fastball, had a lot more life to it. I think a few more reps on this thing and he will be increasing his miles per hour very noticeably.
The thing I love best about training on the Hitting and Throwing Sports Enhancer is that I can do it anytime in my own bedroom.
The Throwing and Hitting Sport Enhancers are sport-specific training devices that are like no other.
They're lightweight, portable, easy to assemble, inexpensive, and easy to use.
They are superior to conventional sport-specific training devices in that they're not so complex. The athlete does not have to depend on a personal or athletic trainer to teach them how to use the products.
An athlete can simply pull it out of the box, anchor it to a wall, and they can mimic the silhouette and exercise in a sport-specific manner with ease.
Every throwing and hitting athlete deserves the chance to train on these devices. Just like hitting and throwing, the exercise starts with a cocking phase that invokes an eccentric contraction of the throwing and hitting motions. It ends with a powerful ballistic concentric contraction of the throwing and hitting muscles. Look how sport-specific this training device is. The exercises being performed on it clearly mimics the biomechanics of hitting and throwing. The sport-specific training created by this device creates a major carryover onto the field. After athletes use this device, they hit the ball farther, throw harder, and win games.